Hello and welcome to another episode of AI Buzz. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about yet another component of personal machine learning workstations. That is hard drives. Hard drive is pretty much a hard drive. Typically, the only difference you're going to see between a lot of them are the type of disk, the read speed, write speed, as well as the storage size of the hard drive. So a couple of these end up being somewhat important for large machine learning workloads. And I'll go over a couple of the rough numbers that you might want to try to hit if you're trying to train big models that require large training sets. So your hard drive isn't going to be actively participating in any sort of model training, but your hard drive is going to be the source for all of your training data. So it ends up still being pretty important. And especially with some of the Kaggle competitions that are out there today, you can get pretty large training data sets. And so you're not going to be wanting to wait around for 5-10 minutes to be reading this data into your memory to then work with it. You're going to want a pretty quick pipeline to be able to pull that data from your hard drive into your RAM so that you can get on your merry way. So to give you some examples of the size that we're talking about, one of the recent Kaggle competitions, it was the Glomulari competition. All the training data was made up of medical images, and the total size of this was about 27 gigabytes. So pretty sizable. You're going to be able to want to read that in as fast as possible so that you can work on your data cleaning, your model training. So the configuration that I have is actually two hard drives. So the first hard drive, this is going to be our performer. This is going to be our fast hard drive. And this is going to enable fast data retrieval by your pipeline, essentially. And for this, what I have an NVMe drive, and these connect directly to your motherboard, and they will give you the best read speeds that are out there, and they're going to help pull in all that data really quick. While the NVMe drives offer a lot of speed, they also come at a pretty high cost. So definitely try to limit those to the 1 terabyte range. If you need a lot more storage than that, consider having a secondary drive where you can store some of your other data. That said, the 1 terabyte NVMe drive from Samsung is a great option. That's actually, I have the 512 gigabyte version of that one, and the read speeds are incredible. You're able to read about 3.5 gigabytes per second and write 3.3 gigabytes per second. So these things are blazing fast. Not only can you read in all your data really quick, you can even write out your model pretty quickly too. So I'll put a link in the description to that Samsung NVMe drive. I have that same one, like I mentioned, and I highly, highly recommend it. And what's really nice too is in the last couple of years, the price of those has come down quite a bit. So the 1 terabyte version is just $150, which, a couple of years ago, I believe that was like $500. So those have really crashed in price, which is nice to see. So to give you an idea of the performance of this drive for that 27 gigabyte medical image data set, it's going to take you theoretically about 7 seconds to read in that data. Your true mileage will vary because those read and write speeds are calculated under pretty optimal conditions. It's kind of a lot like the gas mileage rating that manufacturers put on cars. You likely won't be hitting that theoretical top limit in practice, but you can usually get pretty close. So even if it takes 10 seconds to read in that data, that's still blazing fast, and I'm sure that would be much, much quicker than even an SSD drive, and definitely faster than a conventional spinning disk drive. The second hard drive that I have is more of my slow storage, and this is going to be where I store all my non-machine learning data, or even machine learning data that I'm not actively using. I'll simply transfer that from my fast drive to my slow drive, where it'll probably sit for quite a while and maybe never get used. So for this, I'd recommend one of the high capacity solid state drives. They're still pretty fast, not nearly as fast as the NVMe drive, but they're fast and they come in higher size capacities. and they offer a lot better of a price too. So if you want to be storing, a lot of video or images, you'd want to be putting it on something like that, and you could get, a 2 or 3 terabyte version of that from Western Digital. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. So long story short, plan on having 2 hard drives. Your first is going to really enable fast data pulling. Think about getting an NVMe drive, and then another separate drive for more passive data storage. As always, if you want specific advice on your particular use case, feel free to reach out. I love talking about this stuff and would love to help you guys out and learn more about what you're working on and offer my 2 cents as well. Also hoping to make this a complete series covering every component that's in my machine learning workstation and discussing kind of the different characteristics that you're going to want to be looking at when you're making that type of purchase and how exactly those characteristics will impact your machine learning pipeline process and performance. So if there's a component that you guys want to see in the next video, let me know in the comments section. If you like this video, consider giving a like as well as a subscription to the channel. It'll help out the complicated YouTube algorithm find my channel and recommend it to other people who are looking for machine learning advice. Thanks so much. Bye.